What is up, Star Trek fans? Dan Gunther here. This is my 200th video, and I had something a little different planned for this video, but then CBS went and released a third trailer for Star Trek Discovery, so those plans had to go out the window, or at least postponed for a later video. But in the meantime, I think we have to delve into this new trailer and take a look at what's coming up in Discovery Season 2. Now, I initially didn't plan to go too deep into this trailer and just kind of highlight the new stuff, but upon reviewing it, there is a lot of new stuff in it. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, it opens with this gorgeous shot of the USS Discovery in some sort of nebular cloud. And I have to say, this is the best that this ship has ever looked. I know I mentioned it in a previous trailer review video, but it seems that they've changed up how they're showing the Discovery this year and other ships. So I feel like this is much improved over the VFX shots we got in Season 1, which I did like. They were very stylistic. But this looks a lot more interestingly lit and a lot more detail is visible here. This is just all around gorgeous. Next up is this shot of Spock in what is presumably some sort of mental health facility. If you look, you'll notice there are padded walls. On the floor, there is a lot of Vulcan script as well as what looks to be mathematical equations. Overall as well, the trailer does have a lot more Spock in it than we've seen before. We've gotten hints before with a little bit of dialogue here and there, but this is really the most that we've heard and seen of Spock in these trailers. The next shot is also a new one, and this is Burnham on the surface of a planet with a shuttlecraft in the background. A lot of people have pointed out that the outfit she's wearing looks a lot like a TOS women's uniform, the kind of mini skirt with the high black boots look. However, I think this is a different costume. If you look a couple of points later in the trailer, you get a better glimpse of what she's wearing, and it is not, unfortunately, a Starfleet uniform. So I get where they're coming from, where it kind of looks like that's what this is, but this is something different. Looks like some sort of outfit she might be wearing undercover on an away mission. We get a brief sequence set in some sort of Klingon setting, could be the homeworld of Kronos. And in this scene, we get Tyler and Larell fighting other Klingons who have their heads shaved like other Klingons did in the first season. So it seems there's some sort of infighting among the Klingons. Another beautiful shot of Discovery here. Again, I'm loving the ship shots. I'm loving the planetary vistas. She appears to be orbiting a ringed planet. It looks to be Class M. Oxygen atmosphere suitable for humanoid life, as they say. So we get a little bit from Pike about the Red Angel. They're investigating the 7 bursts that have been mentioned in other trailers, and Pike says they seem to typically follow the arrival of a being that is called the Red Angel, which has come up also in previous trailers. Shortly after this, we get this interesting scene of Pike reviewing some sort of record that shows the appearance of one of these Red Angels. There are people screaming in the background, and Spock in a voiceover talks about the Red Angel having shown him an apocalyptic vision. And we hear him telling Admiral Cornwell that someone or something is going to end all sentient life in the galaxy. And this is the first indication in any of these trailers we've gotten that Jane Brooke is returning as Admiral Cornwell. The next sequence is the arrival of Philippa Giorgo aboard a medical shuttle of some kind, and in it she reveals that she has joined Section 31. In this sequence, it seems that both Pike and Burnham are familiar with Section 31, which is interesting to say the least. I'm not sure if this is previous knowledge that they had, or if it's something that they learn shortly before this scene or during the Season 2 of Discovery. If it is something they knew of before, that seems like a bit of a changed premise with regards to Section 31, with it being a covert unit that operates in the dark and not with any kind of oversight or knowledge of regular people. That to me seems like a bit of a mistake if that is the direction they're going, but I'll reserve judgment till I see where they go with it in Season 2. I'm not going to assume that they're screwing it up, but it doesn't seem to follow the pattern of how we know Section 31 operates in other series. We get this odd shot of some sort of dark, inky creature who is threatening Saru, who appears to be his prisoner. I assume it's Saru. It could be another Kelpian. We do see other Kelpians, or one other Kelpian anyway, later in the trailer, and we'll get to that part when we get to it. But I'm wondering, based on what we see later, if this is a member of the Ba'ul race, the predatory species that culls the Kelpians from their world of Kaminar. Next up is this shot of Discovery alongside what appears to be another Starfleet vessel of a type we've never seen before. The voiceover has Tyler talking about Section 31, which seems interesting. Perhaps Tyler has something to do with that organization. Again, the voiceover may have nothing to do with this visual, but if it is linked, it looks like this might be a ship that's operated by Section 31. And during this part, Tyler says that Section 31 considers the Red Angel to be dangerous. Here we get a look at Spock using the Vulcan nerve pinch on a medical officer of some kind in that padded cell that he's in. So this may be how he escapes and perhaps gets to Discovery. Again, this is kind of just piecing things together from the trailer. We don't know the exact sequence of things, but this could be how Spock joins the story. He breaks out of some sort of mental health institution. Following that, we get this shot of some sort of mass overtaking Ensign Tilly, and this looks to be the same thing that was kind of pulled out of her in a previous scene that we see in another trailer, as well as later in this same trailer. I'm not sure what role this plays. Some sort of creature. Could be sort of the same consistency as what I thought was the Ba'ul earlier as well, but it may be something completely different. Later on, we'll see a shot of Stamets and I'm assuming Engineer Reno looking into a mass like this again when it's opening up. Perhaps Tilly is trapped inside at that point. We get another voiceover from Tyler saying that we're in a fight for our future, to which Captain Pike responds, "Mr. Tyler, we're always in a fight for the future." Another quick sequence in which Kayla Detmer announces that there are 10 Sentry ships on an intercept course. So it looks like Discovery will be facing some long odds when it comes to ship combat. And then we get this sequence of someone beaming in some sort of really interesting transporter effect. It looks to be a woman. I'm thinking this could possibly be Giorgo. The physique looks approximately correct. And she's followed by this drone that appears to be firing phasers after she appears. This is a really cool sequence, and I'm really curious what this is all about. We see this interaction here between Burnham and Spock, in which Burnham tells Spock, "I risked everything to help you." To which Spock responds, "You assume every burden is yours alone." And it's kind of the shouty Spock that we see in The Cage and Where No Man Has Gone Before. Spock is definitely more emotional here than at most other times in Star Trek, but not as emotional as he has been at other times as well. Next up is this another gorgeous space shot of Discovery tractoring something through an asteroid field, or possibly a planetary ring system if you look behind the ship there. I'm not sure what it's tractoring here. It's kind of too small to make out very clearly, but we'll certainly find this out as we get into the season, I'm sure. There are a number of shots in this trailer as well of Tilly interacting with something in some sort of containment vessel. And again, it kind of has that CGI look of the thing that engulfs her at another point as well. So I'm not sure what this is. At one point it's glowing red, another point it glows blue, and then seemingly kind of explodes and pushes her across the room. Tilly's not having a good time with this thing anyway. And then we get Saru saying that Discovery will not allow a catastrophe on her watch. And this shot here, I'm not sure what exactly is going on. It almost looks like it could be mycelium forest, the spores that run the spore drive in the mid-ground there, with Tyler possibly and Tilly in the foreground. And in the far background, we see a ship which we can identify as the Discovery. It's not just another Crossfield class ship. You can see the registry of 1031 on her. And I can't tell if there's some sort of energy field washing over her or if it's crashing through something. It's really difficult to tell exactly what's going on here, but it definitely looks to be some sort of catastrophic situation for the starship. Get another shot of that strange dark inky creature that I think might be a Ba'ul. And again, I don't have a lot of evidence to support that other than we see it later in another scene that makes me think that. And typical climax of the trailer, big huge explosion, Discovery narrowly avoiding it and kind of veering off to the side to avoid it. And then a little bit of an amusing sequence where Stamets says, "Oh, it worked," followed by a shot of whatever it is he's talking about that worked, after which Stamets turns to Burnham and says, "I mean, of course it worked." Next is a Starfleet shuttlecraft fleeing in front of the USS Discovery, and it's followed by some sort of torpedo or missile, which explodes just before hitting the shuttlecraft, it looks like. And if we're to believe the editing of this sequence, the occupants of the shuttle are Spock and Burnham. So not sure what's happening here, if they're escaping Discovery together for some reason and going rogue, or perhaps it's a false flag incident to make it look like they're destroyed or something like that. Again, this is all stuff that we definitely need context for, but for now, they're very interesting visuals and really piquing my curiosity for Season 2. We get another shot of that dark creature reaching towards Saru, again, the creature that I think might be a Baul. And also a moment of tenderness or passion between Tyler and Burnham. I'm interested to see their reunion, given how things were left at the end of Season 1 with those two. It's really cool to see Tyler again for sure, and that will definitely have a huge effect on Burnham and her character. And highlighting it just because I can, another really gorgeous shot of Discovery. Then we get a little bit of an extension to a scene we've already seen, with Pike asking Spock if that's a smile on his face, and he says yes, and Pike continues, "Welcome to Discovery." And we get another gorgeous ship shot of the Discovery going to warp. Then following that is a shot that I'm really interested in. This is Saru, and if you look carefully and you're familiar with the Short Treks episode, The Brightest Star, we see his sister behind him from that episode. And this is the shot that led me to think that it's the Baul that we see earlier, because this looks to be the same set that they were on there. I initially thought this was the transporter room, but if you look, I think it's actually a redressing of the transporter room to represent another location, possibly the Baul ship. Another new sequence towards the end of the trailer here that we haven't seen before. This sort of energy field or whatever this is kind of permeating the bridge of Discovery, and this looks to be the same thing that was kind of contained possibly in engineering in that earlier scene with Stamets and Burnham. And that's it. That's the end of the trailer. So I think of all the trailers we've gotten before, this is my favorite. It's the one that has kind of the most new and interesting things in it, and really makes me feel like they're going in a new and different direction in Season 2. The second trailer seemed to be all about nostalgia and showing us things that as Star Trek fans were excited to see in Season 2 that harken back to other Star Treks. Klingons with hair, Spock returning, the old Klingon ship, and that sort of thing. Whereas this one really seems to be showing us what's new in this season and what we can expect to be different. The overall story of Season 2, I'm really curious about. There's a lot of speculation out there as to what those red angels could be. There's some people saying that they could be the legendary Iconians from Star Trek lore. I'm not sure about that. I think that's a bit of a stretch, a bit of a reach. I haven't seen a lot of evidence that points in that direction, but it could be a really interesting thing that ties into Star Trek lore if they decide to go that route. But I think this is something new and different that we've never seen before. Again, I could be wrong. This is all just speculation on my part, but I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. What did you think of this trailer? What do you think of the things that were revealed in it? And what are you most excited about in Star Trek Discovery Season 2? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching. And again, of course, thanks especially to the Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate it. Be on the lookout for my next video, which will kind of be a bit of a celebration video for my 200th video, which is this one. So that'll be 201, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't blame CBS for giving us a new trailer. I love it. I'm glad we got it. So keep on the lookout for that. And until next time, steer clear of red angels. They look dangerous. And Section 31 considers them a threat.